Good morning. It is a little bit chilly today, and I'm a little behind normal schedule, hence the daylight. So today, thought I'd bring up kind of a touchy subject for some, but nonetheless, it's a subject that we've got to be prepared to deal with. Death. People are gonna die in an emergency. Short term, long term, doesn't matter. They're gonna die. How you handle it is pretty important. And I mean, today it's easier. I say easy. It's never easy to deal with death, particularly if it's somebody that you love. But today it's easier because if someone's sick or they're older and they're sick and they're going to die, or doesn't matter how it happens. Once they pass, we have people that take care of the rest of that for us. Everything from the deputy coroner or the coroner that comes in and does the paperwork and the cause of death and the death certificate and that stuff, which is a pretty powerful constitutional position. But from the coroner to the funeral home, and the funeral home takes them, and the funeral home has the whole process laid out, everything from transportation of the body to embalming, or whatever your wishes are, up to cremation, burial. If you need to transport the body, they can ship it and all that. They already know how to do all that. They've got it all planned out, and they're ready to do that. So we don't have to deal with any of that. We get to grieve, and we get to be sad, and we get to go, well, Cousin Bob just passed. We make a phone call to 911, and the next thing we know, we're at the funeral home discussing options, and and they've got everything laid out nicely for us, or Cousin Bob had a plan already in place where everything's taken care of. You never know. Being a little nosy. And then the next thing we know, we're at the church, and we're all dressed up, and we say our goodbyes to their body, because that's all it is their body. And then we go to the funeral, or we go to the gravesite. We cry a little bit, and we walk away, holding each other's hand, and we go eat some food. Well, that's not how it's going to work in a disaster. Somebody has to be the one that steps up and oops, sorry about the noise. Somebody has to be the one that steps up and handles how we're going to deal with both the emotional, somebody passed away, somebody died, you got to say somebody died, to what are we going to do with the body, the corpse. It's nothing but a shell, in my opinion. How we're going to handle that. Somebody's got to be willing to do that. You have to be prepared to do that. You have to have the tools necessary to make that happen. Everything from sometimes you need to clean up the body, depends on what you want to do, what your group or what your wishes are. You got to clean up the body, prepare it a little bit, make it look as presentable as you can. Are you going to sit up with the dead? Are you going to take them out right now and bury them? How are you going to dig the hole? Where are you going to dig the hole? How are you going to carry the body? All kinds of things. Some of them are more important than others. Cleaning up the body is totally up to you. If you're going to let people see him or her, fine. Then you need to clean them up and get them as ready as you can. You know, and you need to arrange a place to do that and a time to do that. And it's got to be quick, because you're not going to have embalming fluid in the embalming process and the pumps and the, I won't get into some of the tools, but so you don't have any of that. So you need to get them in the ground relatively quickly. Well, that means if you don't have a hole dug, somebody's got to start digging, because it's got to be deeper than a foot deep. It's got to be deep enough that animals can't get to it. It's got to be deep enough that it's not going to decompose and break through the soil. I don't mean like raw zombie hand. I mean rainwater's not going to wash it away, and then there's going to be a decaying corpse. It's got to be deep enough to take care of that. Excuse me. So that takes some doing. Where do you put it? A dead body's a dead body, whether it's a skunk or a human. Where are you going to put it? Is it going to be uphill from your water source? Is it going to be out back by the garden? You gotta know this stuff. You gotta plan for it ahead of time, and that's hard. Some people want to be able to go visit a headstone, which may just be a rock, scratched on rock. So you need it to be somewhere accessible, kind of. I don't know. There's a lot to think about, from where you're going to put the deceased, how you're going to handle it, how long it's going to take you to do it. Do you have the digging tools to do it? Do you have the soil that you're going to be able to dig? Where I live, digging down deep without power equipment is gonna suck. And it's not a couple hour process. It's a day or two. Just some thoughts. You got to take care of the dead, because if you don't, if you let the body stay, or you handle it incorrectly, then as it starts to decay, not only will it be a mind rotter, listen at me, a thing that rots your mind, because you always deal with, oh well, I see right over there, that's where that body's at. But then as it starts to decay, it can spread disease, and you don't need that. So make plans. Put some thought into it the next time you sit down with your family or your group and decide how you're going to deal with it. There's lots of information online. Lots and lots. There's a big push for natural cemeteries now. They've got some good information out there. Anyway, how are you going to handle them when they're dead? Let's get ready.